I'm going to turn my live streaming. Okay, this is done. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे नाम संकीर्तन की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव विंद की जय, असेंबल भक्तविंद की जय, इसकन फाउंडर आचार्य हिज भांगे जय प्रभुपाद की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल की जय। हरे कृष्णा। Last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18. That's the concluding chapter, the perfection of renunciation. Beautiful, beautiful chapter. So are you all excited going through the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita?
Haribol.
Yes. Then we'll have nectar of devotion right after this. So this chapter has 78 verses. Krishna talks about freedom from bondage through Karma Yoga. So this chapter, in a nutshell, presents the summary of everything that we have talked. That's what you would see. So what is the first part of the Bhagavad Gita?
Karma Yoga.
She says, freedom from bondage through Karma Yoga. So Krishna will start from there. And then he will talk about what are the factors for action to take place. 5 factors for actions. And then he would say that moods, we have talked about that, control all activities and all beings. So all action and all living beings are controlled by mood. But one can start process of purification by acting in varnasrama. Okay, that's how the purification begins. And when there is sufficient purification, then living being comes to the stage of Brahmbhuta Prasanatma Sojati na Kanchati, Brahman understanding. And then from there, he proceeds to Paramatma understanding. And then finally, Bhagwan, pure bhakti is basically Bhagwan understanding, knowing Krishna as the Bhaktaram Yaptapsam Saraloki Maheshwara. So Bhaktaram Yagyatapsam. That's the goal, right? Sardharman Pariteja Mamekam Sarnam Braja. That's the goal. And then series of verses where we'll hear what was the realization of Arjun. So who are is hearing teaching of Bhagavad Gita? Arjun and
Sanjay.
Sanjay. So we'll hear from both how enlighten, powerful do they feel after hearing the entire Bhagavad Gita. So I'll keep on coming to this slide and I'll keep on giving you different perspective as we go through this. But for introduction class today, this is what I would like to share. So let's walk through this slide. This slide has presented in nutshell summary of everything that we have studied. We have started from Karma Kand to Sakam Karma Yoga to Niskam Karma Yoga. After sufficient purification through Niskam Karma Yoga, one is qualified to do or perform Gyan Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. But Gyan Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga has some effect of fruitive result. Gyani or Ashtanga Yogi, they are engaged because they want to merge into Brahman. They want to realize Paramatma. So that brings them up to the mode of goodness. But that follower has to move up, and in order for them to move up, he has to drop the karma sannyas. He has to take the sannyas, renunciation from fruitive result. And then finally, he has to also drop the Gyan sannyas. So when both Gyan karma navritam, when both Gyan and karma is renounced, then pure bhakti yoga starts, which will ultimately gives living being soko moho bhayapaha, completely free from this suffering of the material existence, liberation, going back to home, back to Krishna. So that process has to be established, starting from Karma Yoga platform. One come to the stage of Gyan Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, but finally they have to leave both Gyan Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga, both Gyan and Karma Sannyas, to perform pure bhakti. So Krishna is going to summarize that discussion in this chapter, finally helping us come to pure bhakti yoga. Okay, is it clear so far? Is it clear what we are going to see in this chapter?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so now let's build some connection from chapter 17 and 18. This verse number first, Arjun Uvacha, Sannyasasya Mahabaho, Tattvam Veditum, Tyagashya cha Rishikesha, Prithak Keshi Nishudana. Keshi Nishudana means the one who killed demon Keshi, the horse demon. Sannyasasya Mahabaho. Mahabaho here refers to Supreme Personality of Godhead. O mighty armed one. O Rishikesh, O mighty armed. Rishikesh and Mahabaho word is being used. Ikshami Vedutim. I have desire Vedutum to know. O Supreme Personality of Godhead. O killer of demon Keshi. I have desire to know. What is my desire? Sannyasasya Tyagasya. What is renunciation and what is Tyag? So, this chapter, Arjun is asking, what is sannyas? What is Tyag? Are they different, prithak, or they are same? If they are different, then what it is? And if it is same, what it is? I would like to know. Okay. So why this question, why this discussion is coming? What triggers this type of question? In chapter 17, we had series of verses from 23 to 28 where we talked about Om Tat Sat Iti. One should, so Krishna has talked about different divisions of faith, austerity, charity, food, all of that have different modes, but purpose is that one should come out of these modes. We don't want to be performing actions which are within this mode. Then Krishna gives the prescription. He says, Om Tat Sat Nirdesho Iti. Do your yagya, do your action as a offering to Om, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Perform your activity Tat, which will bring you out of the material suffering. So make your action beyond material endeavor and make it Shat. Shat feature, eternity feature of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we concluded that action becomes eternal if it's done as a offering to Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is Shat. That is Shat action, eternal action. Now Krishna says, but if it's not done, the sacrifice, charity, austerity, food that we eat, if it's not done as offering to Supreme Personality of Godhead with deep faith, then it is considered asat. So then the very logical question comes that are you talking about sannyas or are you talking about tyag? What are you talking about? You are saying that we should act for pleasure of Krishna without attaching to the results of action that we do, and we do for the pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead to please Krishna. So then can you please help me understand, is it sannyas you are talking about or is it tyag you are talking about? Because Why we need to understand that? I understand this concept, but still there are majority of people in the society who are engaged in fruitive activity. They are they think that their food is coming because they work. You know, they think that they are feeding themselves, right? Sometimes they engage in the action which are little higher in the mode of passion for some fruitive result. All of that we have seen, right? How the charity, austerity, and tapasya, offering of the food, etc., are done in the mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness. So, can you please help me understand this beautiful concept? How then the living being who think themselves karta hamiti mannate, themselves as doer, would come to this stage where they would act for Supreme Lord, right? And this again goes back to first six chapter where Krishna is talking about Karma Yoga, right? So this is how we get into this chapter where we are trying to summarize how Karma Yoga should be done, and how a person who is now aspiring to be pure devotee, because most of the people in society, they are not acting as Om Tat Sat Iti. They don't. But the people who are doing it, right, they are great, but how others can come to this stage? Do they have to do this sannyas, or do they have to do the tyag? So sannyas and tyag, no, the word is being here. Tyag is renouncing, and sannyas is renounce order of life. So on the Varnashram platform, there is Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanprastha, and Sannyas. So renounce order. Okay, and Tyagi are the one who have renounced the. Just let's don't get the definition right now. Just Tyagi means the one who are renunciant, who have renounced, right? But not necessarily that person has left family, right? Living with family, living household life, but he has renounced. On the other hand, there is renounced order of life. So Arjuna is asking the renunciant, and person who is in the renounced order of life, are they same or are they different? If they are different, where they are, how they are different, and if they are same, then what is the similarity? So I would like to give a pause and hear from you. Are you all clear so far what I'm talking about? Or is there some doubt? I don't, please don't ask me what is the difference in the renunciate. What is the difference in the renounced order of life? Sannyas, we are going to see that. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Krishna will help us understand that. But up to now, whatever I have told, is it clear? What I told and what I told and what I told, is it clear or no? So I said two things. First, that this chapter is going to present a summary. And second thing, I was just telling how the very first verse connects with the verses that we studied in 17th chapter. So are those things clear or not?
Yes, Prabhuji. The first thing that you talked about is like the activity is done in different modes. If it is not um, if it is not offered to Krishna, it becomes it it defies the purpose of life. I mean,
Yes.
the ultimate goal of life. And
Yes.
the second one that you said is like, how this is connecting back to, like, in this chapter, we will be seeing starting from the first chapter, karma sanya, what do you call
Yeah,
it?
Karma Yoga.
Karma yoga. Yes, karma yoga. And that is where we are right now.
Right. Yes. Satvijanand Prabhu, is it clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. Uh, trying to understand it more, but yeah, as we are going forward, yeah, as Mataji said, that's what my understanding. But
Yeah,
yeah.
little more will come. Little more will come. So I presented this slide here also because purpose of Bhagavad Gita talks about Gunibhuta Bhakti, talks about Pradhanibhuta Bhakti, but finally gives the conclusion that one should engage in which bhakti?
Kevala Bhakti.
Kevala Bhakti. Yes, yes, yes. So that's what we are seeing here. That this first six chapter is talking about Gunibhuta Bhakti, and then next six chapter talked about Pradhanabhuta Bhakti, where bhakti is predominant and there is some mixture of Gyan. Then finally Krishna will conclude what is unalloyed devotional service. So chapter 9 and 10 talked about pure bhakti. So chapter 7 and 8 talked about Pradhana Bhuta Bhakti. 9, 10 talked about Shuddha Bhakti. And then after that Krishna started giving some more knowledge, some more Gyan. But that Gyan is not the Gyan that we talk as a Stang Yogi. So one thing is also I wanted to share that first six chapter is Karma Yoga, middle six chapter is Bhakti Yoga, the last six chapter is Gyan Yoga. So that Gyan Yoga is Bhakti Gyan. One should not think that this Gyan is analytical like Sankhya Gyan, the Gyan that Kapil Dev gives through the process of analytical study. That's not the Gyan we are talking about. This is the Bhakti Gyan. This is the Gyan that is needed to have firm conviction in the process of bhakti. So sometimes our devotee also get confused. They say that why we have to study Shastra. Knowledge is not required. But no, this is Bhakti Gyan. We need this knowledge. This knowledge is needed uh, to have firm conviction in the process of bhakti. Okay, so sounds like so far we are pretty good. Now let's see what Supreme Father Krishna has to say. So Sri Krishna defines the sannyas and tyag. Sri Bhagwan Vacha. Sri Krishna is now going to talk. Kamyanam, Kamyanam, Karmanam Nyasham. Kamya Anam, Karmanam Nyasham. Sannyasam Kavayo Vidhu. Kavayo means learned. Right? Learned man has said. The Vidwan had said. What they have said? What they have said? Sarva karma phala tyagam. Prahus tyagam vichakshanaha. So, sannyas, renounced order of life is giving up of kamya karma. Kamyanam, karmanam, nyasham. Nyasham means to nyas, to sacrifice. So sannyas, renounced order of life, is giving up of kama karma or activities based on the material desire. We'll talk about it a little bit. And sarvaphalam, sarvakarm phalatyagam, prahustyagam vichaksanaha, vishaksanaha. Tyaga is renouncing the result of all activities. So there are two terms here being used, or we have to understand what are two prominent categories of karma. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary, says that there are nitya karma and there are kama karma. Please make a note. You should know that. Whichever way you want to take the snap of this, you want to make a note, whichever way you work. So nitya karma and kama karma. Nitya karma is, nitya means eternal, karma means action, right? Those actions which are based on the injunctions of scripture, such as getting up in the morning and doing morning bandhana, some of those type of prescribed duty. It's not bhakti, by the way. Please note that down. Nitya karma are prescribed duty. Okay. So, and Krishna will talk about Shudra and Vaishya, Kshatriya and Brahmin in this chapter. So, Nitya karmas are karmas which are prescribed by scripture. So, everyone should do Nitya karma, right? These are the karma. It's karma, it's not bhakti. But these are done. And in Nectar of Devotion, this has been called as primary and secondary limbs. So this karma is secondary anga of the bhakti. Like for example, taking shower before you chant the name of Krishna. Is it bhakti or not a bhakti? It's not a bhakti. It's not anga of the bhakti that one should chant. Meat eating, is it a bhakti or not a bhakti? It's not anga of the bhakti. Illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication. It's not, you will see in the next chapter. Okay, these are not called out as anga of the bhakti. What are the anga of the bhakti? Hearing, chanting name of Krishna, worshipping Tulsi Maharani, going to holy places, sadhu sangha. These are the anga, 64 anga of the bhakti we'll study. But those 64 anga doesn't say that one should not eat meat, one should not do illicit sex. Yes, sense control has to be there. So us taking bath is secondary. What it does is that it enhances one mood for devotion, right? So something like that, not exactly, but something like that. Like for example, if one has taken the bath, it's very easy to chant. It gives the good mood. Your mood is quiet, and it will enhance your chanting process. So for sannyasi, nitya karma is prescribed. Okay, and kam karmas are the karma which are done for personal desires. What are the personal desires? Like for example, you'll see people are doing charity and austerity. Charity they will do for name, form, for name, fame, right? So something that is done for some result is kama karma. So kama karma is fruitive action for fulfilling the particular personal desire, such as elevating to the heavenly planet. And nitya dharma as prescribed duty that is given in Shastra. So sannyasi should not be engaged into kama karma. So the person who are in the renounced order of life, they should not engage in kama karma. Means karma which are for personal benefit. Sannyasi should not do. But he should engage in nitya karma, prescribed duty. Okay. So sannyas order means renouncing kama karma. Any karma that is for fruitive result. But sannyasa is engaged in a nitya karma, which gives or which serves as a prerequisite to engage in devotional service. I mean, it doesn't give bhakti, but it enhances the mood. Okay. And tyaga are type of, or tyagis are those personality, or tyagas are those actions where one might be engaged in kama karma, one might be engaged in nitya karma, but they are not attached to the result. A little, stressing, but it will become more and more clearer as we go along. So sannyasi has no purpose. There is no purpose for sannyasi to engage into kama karma, into fruitive activity. There is no need for sannyasi to do that. But sannyasi should engage in nitya karma, because nitya karma will help them focus on their devotional service. It will help them, it will enhance their mood to engage in bhakti. But tyaga means one can perform kama karma, one can perform nitya karma, but their goal is to not attach to the fruit. And I think might help you to understand this concept a little better if I can pull out chapter 6 slide where I had the
Prabhuji,
yeah
when we say comparison between Tyag and Sannyas, are we comparing apples to apples or apples to oranges? Because Tyag is not an order of life. Sannyas is an order of life,
yeah
right?
so yeah,
Tyag
but
is
people
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, the Tyag will mean giving up the fruits of our activities, right? Uh, but sannyas is a lifestyle where you practice tyag in every step of life, right? I mean, can we say that?
tyag is yes, tyag is basically you as a grihastha. Yes, you are. I think you said right. I don't want to talk much on that. Yes, tyag is basically you are engaged in kama karma or nitya karma for the pleasure of Supreme Lord. Okay,
Mhm.
so it's basically Krishna will say same thing.
Mm.
Finally, it will conclude the same thing as long as one is not associated with the fruits of the result. So sannyas is order, which is done, in order at sannyasa stage. But one can be sannyasi even in the family life if they are following the principle of not being attached to the result, rather
Mhm.
giving it to Krishna. So yes, so it's not a, it's basically the same thing. I gave you the answer. Krishna will
Prabhuji,
conclude. Yeah.
Prabhuji, can we say that Tyagi and Sannyasi, can we say that Tyagi is a unripe apple and Sannyasi is a ripe apple? Like, in the process of becoming a sannyasi. Tyagi is in a process of becoming sannyasi. Can we say that?
Tyagi can be sannyasi, you're right.
No, in the process, like it's not done
Yeah.
yet.
I mean, in
Mhm.
fact, the learning that we'll get here is saying that they are the same as long as the intent is clear. As long as the intent is that we are acting for Krishna, it's same. But a person who are following the tyaga, they can come to the stage of sannyas. But getting from tyag to sannyas, literally nothing will change. It's just the dress external change will happen. Internally, one is doing the same thing. So I don't know how exactly you mean by raw versus ripened fruit, but I understand your point. What you are saying is right.
Mm.
But also you have to understand these things little separately so that we understand the difference. At the same time, you understand how they are similar. And this slide will help you understand. So what we are seeing here is that either one is in the Sakam karma or one is in the Niskam karma. Okay. In Sakam karma, one is also engaged in the duties of Varnashram. And in Niskam karma, also one is engaged in the duty of Varnashram. Okay. But difference between Sakam and Niskam karma is that in Sakam karma, one is acting for self benefit. But in Niskam karma, one is acting for liberation or purification. Okay. So if the Sakam karmi and Niskam karmi, so Sakam karma here is Kam karma. Okay. And Nitya karma is not Niskam karma. I should not say that. But sannyasi is engaged in Niskam karma, acting for purification. So when a girhastha, Sakam girhastha, when he is acting for his personal benefit, then he is not a tyagi. But when either he does the Varnashram karma at Sakam karma stage or Niskam karma stage, if his objective has changed, and what is the change really? The change is that in Sakam karma yoga he is working for self benefit, in Niskam karma yoga he is working for the purification. So that's the point we have to understand. That when we are talking about these two personality, okay, now the sannyasi also has, although he has nitya karma that he has to do, but he is also not attached to the fruits of the action that he is doing. And tyagi, although he will be doing kam karma and nitya karma, but he is also not attached to fruit of the action that he is doing. So that's what Krishna will say. He'll say either sannyas or tyag. As long as you are not attached to fruit of your action, as long as your action is not fruitive activity, it has same purpose, right? And that's what that's what we saw in that slide, or even in this slide, that one has to make sufficient purification to come to this stage, right? Before they can do the Gyan, Sannyas. So that's what this is being presented here. Sannyas, but sannyas is in a order. It's a renounced order of life. Tyag or a tyagi is not a renounced order of life. But if sannyas and tyag, if both of these are done for pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead, then what is the difference? There is no difference. Clear or no clear? Or confusing, very confusing. I know it's a little bit confusing here, but it will become more clear. Okay. But please just stick, that's this last chapter summary. That was in fact the study we did in Gunibhuta Bhakti, right? That one has to get karma sannyas, which means not attaching with the fruits of their action. Sufficiently pure, not attached to the result. That is niskam karmi yoga, when one has karma phalam tyagam, right? So that's what it is. Either you are engaged in fruitive activity or you are engaged in the activities which are prescribed in Shastra, as long as you are not attached to the fruit of result, same thing. Okay. So what are the opinions? Then Krishna gives opinion of Tyaga by other personalities, and then in verse number 4 and 6 he gives his opinion. Okay, so what he is saying now, what are the understanding people have? He says Tyajyam dosa vaditi eke karma prahur manishinihi. So this manishis are learned person. Kram prahur manishinah yagyadan tapah karma na tyajyam iti cha apare. So tyajyam dos vaditi eke, there are philosophers who say that give up all fruitive activity because it's faulty, because there is a possibility of violence in the acts of sacrifice, and that will give you reaction. So give up all the fruitive activity because it's faulty. Don't engage in any fruitive activity. Why? Because it's faulty. Okay, you'll end up doing sin. And there are other who says that never give up the acts of sacrifice such as yagya, charity and austerity, because there is no sin from performing what is prescribed in the Veda. Okay, so never give up. What not give up? Yagya, dana and tapsa. One should not give up. That's right? And one should give up the fruitive activity because it's faulty. So these are the opinion. What are the opinions? I think it's very simple. Two opinions about Tyaga. First one, that give up all kam karma. So if you go with that uh, definition, then Tyagi will also not be engaged in the kam karma. What we are saying is that Tyagi can stay engaged in kam karma, right? But this says that give up all fruitive activity. So there are certain people, certain school of theology, and example is given cited here, Kapil Dev, Sankhya philosophy says that all fruitive activity, don't be part of it. Don't engage in the fruitive activity because it will end up having some reactions to you. But never give up. This is standard understanding, right? But if we are engaged in the fruitive activity, so-called, it appears to be fruitive activity, but if we are not desiring the fruits of that activity, Then what's the problem with that? Tell me yes or no.
Yeah. Yes.
So like devotees, we are working. We go and work. We all have job. Ordinarily, that will be seen as fruitive activity, right? So somebody immaturely will say, don't work because this will give reaction. I don't want to work, right? But Krishna says that no, karm phalam tyagam. More than renouncing the work, you have to renounce the fruit,
fruits.
fruits of the work. So it's nothing too complicated we are talking about, by the way. We are talking the same philosophy that we have talked. Okay. So make sure that you don't get too confused by hearing this word. But we are setting up a good foundation so that we can understand the connections that what we have studied before versus what we are doing now. So give up all fruitive activity. Why should I give up all fruitive activity? Oh, you should give up because it incur reactions. No, but I still, I want to be part of the fruitive activity, but I want to do it for Krishna. That's what Krishna will say. That's what he's going to teach. That it's okay as long as you are doing for me, as you are doing for. That's why Grihastha should donate to temple. Don't be miser. If Grihastha is not giving donation to temple, not giving donations to sannyasis, I'm being recorded. But when sometimes home program happens, I go and reach out to the host, say that Mataji, can you make sure that you give 20, 35, $50 to all the temple devotees? Sometimes they give, sometimes they don't give. Sometimes I think why even they don't give to the guests who have at their house. And I said, why you had program? I mean, sorry, I'm being recorded. Cut that part, edit that part. So the point here is that Grihastha, what is the meaning of Grihastha? Give something. Use your hard earning, going to holy places, uh, doing, something for Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it becomes fruitive activity. Getting up in the morning, taking that sacrifice, going for Mangalarti. Today we have Mangalarti here in St. Louis. Coming for those type of endeavor is very important. It's not show off. That's how you'll purify. It brings purification. Grihastha should do that. But again, if there is some family limitations and other things, so you be very wise, very wise, very excellent, very in a very excellent way manage it. Okay, Prabhupada has given quotation that a woman who is married but has love with someone, then he's always thinking about the lover. Or when she is in front of her husband, she behaves like that. She is fully chastity and devout. So this is intelligence. Bhakti doesn't mean that we ruin our family system. No, we have to know how to deal with it very excellently, very nicely. So karm phalam tyagam, that's what is needed, not the karma. We don't want to leave the action. Rather, we want to sacrifice the food. Then Krishna, so Arjun has asked the question, right? And Krishna has not answered it. What is the difference between this sannyas and tyag? Krishna told, that what is sannyas and what is tyag, and then what other things. And then Krishna is going to say that there are three kinds of tyag. There are three kinds of renunciation. Okay. Nishayam shrunu me tatra tyaga bharta satatama tyago hi purusho vyagraha trividha. See here, trividha, three types. Samprakirtitaha. So there are three types. Nishayam, we determined, that there are Three types. O best of the Bharata, now hear my judgment about renunciation. O tiger among men, renunciation is declared in the scripture to be of three kinds. So I'm sure all of you know what are those three kinds. What are those three kinds?
Mamata Tyaga, Phala Tyaga, and Karma Tyaga.
So we'll hear about that. Yeah. So the tyaga that is done in goodness, tyaga that is done in passion, and tyaga that is done in ignorance. Those are the three tyagas. Nishayam srunime tatra tyage bharata sattva. Tyago hi purusho vyagraha. The word vyagra, oh tiger among the men. So in the commentary it said, what is the meaning of oh tiger among the men? The importance of that word is Arjuna is like tiger, and tiger in the forest is not afraid of other living beings. So there are other living beings around, but tiger is not afraid. So likewise, a tyagi will see other things, but he'll be not impacted by it because his goal is very clear that I am acting. In fact, Krishna is saying here that real tyag is acting for Krishna. That's all. That's all. That's the answer in nutshell. Acting for Krishna, acting for pleasure of supreme personality of God is a real tag. And sannyasi also does the same thing. So sannyas and tag is the same thing. Okay. So these three types, Krishna will start talking from verse number 7. So let's finish this verse 5 and 6. Never give up the acts of sacrifice, charity, and austerity. Krishna is saying, don't give up. Why? Because these are needed. These are needed for purification. Okay, so don't just leave the action. Yagya dan tapah karma natyajyam karyam eva tat yagyo danam tapashaiva pavanani. Pavanani means it purifies manishinam, even the great soul. So this sacrifice, charity, and austerity are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, this sacrifice, charity, and austerity purifies even the great soul. So Krishna is not prescribing that you should leave. The action should not be left. But see here, the mood has to be right. What is that mood now? What are the mood of performing yaga, dan, and tapsa? Etani apitu karmani. Shangam tyaktva falani cha. Kartabya aniti. Kartavya aniti. Aniti niti. Kartabya aniti me partha. Nishtim. Nishitim. Matam. Nishitam. Nishitam basically. Nishchitam. Nishchit. Nishchitam matam uttamam. Matam uttamam. Yeah. Matam uttamam. Ma has a small o. So it's matam. But if there is line, then it becomes matam. Like tektva is matam. So nischitam matam uttamam. So what he is saying? Etani apitu karma. Karmani. So you should do these actions. Etani apitu karmani. All of these actions that you are seeing, which is gyan, yag, tap, karma. Right? Etani. These actions. How should be done? Sangam tyaktva. You should do without attachment of or doership mentality. So it's getting there now. Without attachment or doership mentality, you should engage in activity. And then falanicha, see it came, without expectations of result. And kartabya, kartabya, kartabya means action. And kartavyani, 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 yani, you should do just as your duty, kartabya, right? Sanskrit word kartabya. So he says that this yag, yagya, dana, tapa, and yag, dan, tapa, and karma, all of this, yagya, dana, and tapa, this should be done without attachment of I am the doer type of mentality. People do that, right? So if these three things are followed, then it's not the action in guna, right? If one has doership mentality, then it becomes passion, right? If one expects results with doership mentality, then that's also passion. And one does for name fame, then it's kind of a little bit in goodness and passion. So once we do this yagyadan tapa by following this guidance that Krishna has given, sangam taktva falanicha, as a matter of duty, then these are the right mood of performing. So in that mood, if gyan, if yagya, dan and tapa are performed, then that type of performance should not be given up. Question so far?
So the about the three types of tyag, those three types of tyags are sacrifice, charity, and austerity, right? Yagya, dan, and tap, right? Yagya, dan, and tap. And yagya.
No, tyag also is your fruitive activity too, karma. Karma that we are engaged in, fruitive activity, that also has to be tyag. But higher than fruitive activity is action of yagya, dan, and tapa. So one may say that, okay, for the fruitive activity, I don't really have any issue. I understand. I can easily leave the results of fruitive activity. But at the same time, I'm not going to get engaged in yagya, charity, and austerity.
Okay, so when you say three kinds of tyag, that those are the tyags in the three modes.
No, so tyags in three modes are basically tyag in goodness, tyag in passion, tyag, and that definition Krishna will start helping us from verse number 7.
Okay. So,
But this is
verse number 4.
yeah. So four verse Krishna said that there are three types, but he is not yet talking about those three types.
Okay. Okay.
You know, it's kind of he's delaying in that discussion. From
In that
verse number
discussion.
7, from verse number 7, he will start. I see. Yeah, it's very good. Point that you mentioned. That we talked right about that there are three types of tyaga. Then where are the three types of tyaga, right? And so this is yagya, dan, and tapa. These are three types. But no, Krishna is saying that there are three types. Okay, I told you that there is fruitive activity, and there is yagya, dana, and tapa, right? Some say that this should not be given up, right? Some say that fruitive activity should be given up. So now he is kind of summarizing, more or less what he has spoken in verse number 3, that there are three types of tyaga, but I know that fruitive activity which are oriented for the personal result has to be given up, But it, hold on, don't also give up the charity, austerity, and yagya. Don't give up, but set your mood right. Okay, so Krishna is not saying that you should leave these, but do in a right mood. And what is that mood? So verse number 5 and 6 are connected. Okay, 4 is going to connect with verse number 7. 3, 5, and 6 put together is telling you a specific instruction. Okay, what Krishna said in verse number 4 is now going to be further explained in verse number 7. So that's our issue. So 3, Krishna gave the broader understanding. He introduced the term, a fruitive activity, and then yagya, dana, and tapa. And then in verse number 5, he is saying that this yag, dan, and tap should not be given up, but it should be done following this mood. And then he will start talking about tyag. Clear?
Well, I'm confused.
Yeah, where is
Really.
confusion?
The confusion is it appears to me that yagya dan and tap, and in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning about vivah yagna.
Yeah,
Vivaha is a yagna
yeah.
performed for regulated sense gratification, right? So regulate the human mind. Uh, so
I don't know
those who
sense
are not
gratification
in
is
the
the right
renounced
word or
order of
not,
life,
Prabhu. It's not.
huh?
Did Prabhupada say that the Vivahi marriage is done for regulated sense gratification? Did he say like
Uh,
that?
it says like marriage ceremony, for example, is considered one of the sacrifices. It is called
Yes,
Vivaha Yagna.
yes.
Should a sannyasi who is in renounced order of life, who is not given up family relationship, encourage marriage ceremony? The Lord says here that any sacrifice which is meant for human welfare should never be given up. Vivah
Right,
Yagna, the marriage ceremony, is meant to regulate the human mind so that it may become peaceful for spiritual advancement.
right.
For most men, this Viha Yagna should be encouraged even by persons in the renounced order of life. So that is encouraging part, but Vivaha itself is mentioned as
Regulate the mind,
yeah, to
and
regulate the
to
mind.
to and also with that regulated mind, creating a progeny which is of the higher breed. So
Yeah,
Rishi Munis who are living in like Gautam Rishi, Ahilya, those marriages were not for sense gratification. Those marriages were to create progeny. Will be like of Gautam Rishi. Will be like of that caliber. Sometimes there are a story that demons also take birth. That's different thing depending on time and circumstances and all of that. But for a person who cannot have sense control, and they say that I'm not qualified to do bhakti. What is your problem? My problem is that I don't have control over the senses. What do you mean? It means that I cannot live the brahmacharya life. Very difficult for me to live as a brahmachari. And okay, get married, but regulate, know the purpose of
Prabhuji, my
marriage.
contention here is my argument that um,
So this marriage, just one
yeah,
minute, Prabhu. This marriage will help one to awaken their consciousness.
yeah,
Grihastha can become Banprastha or not. Huh?
yes, definitely,
Yes.
So we have gone through the marriage process or no?
yeah,
Can we become sannyasi or no?
Yes.
Okay. So can one become sannyasi from brahmachari?
it is possible.
Can one become sannyasi from grihastha?
Slowly, slowly,
Yeah.
slowly. Yes.
Exactly. So that is the point. So Krishna is saying that, in order for you to be sannyasi, a renounced, purified devotee, if you can become from brahmachari to sannyasi, it's very good. Very good. You do it. But if you think that you have some, attachment with family, household life, wives, you want to stay in family, have your own house, okay, live in your house, but have a deity of Krishna. Both you and your wife serve Radha Krishna deity, serve in temple, and that will purify your senses, right?
Mhm.
So here when we are talking about this thing, Prabhu. Sorry, I had some thought process in my mind, so I wanted to complete it, otherwise I'll forget.
Yes,
So
yes.
so anything that is prescribed by the Shastra, which is supporting towards your devotional service, should not be dropped. Okay, Prabhuji, now go ahead. Please
Okay.
ask what you were asking.
So what I'm thinking, we are talking about four kinds of, three kinds of sacrifices or tyag. So we mentioned, okay, there are three kinds in terms of modes, but
Yeah.
also the three varieties also in terms of this. Um, in verse number 5, it's a yagya, dan, and tap. Are these not also different varieties of tyag? And when we get
So
married, we are also doing some sacrifice, right? I mean, we are
yes,
like, for the
yes,
spouse.
yes.
We
So Prabhu, I understand. So if this tyag, if
hmm,
these yagya, dan, and tapa have done following this guidance, then this
hmm,
is perfect tyag. Perfect tyag. You are engineer, okay,
hmm,
and you are working in a company. All the money that you make, you use only for building the temple, supporting the devotees who are in Krishna consciousness, supporting your life so that you can bring Krishna. You are number one tyagi. You are perfect tyagi. Although you from outside somebody will say that you are not the tyagi. So Krishna is saying, you do yagya, and you do yagya for your next life. I'm doing yagya because I'll next life when I leave this body, I go to heavenly planet. I'm doing charity because they say that if give me 1 paisa, it will come to 10 paisa. More a passion, Krishna will say. It's more a passion. And ignorance is that you just don't do it. I don't want to do it because these things are. So there are people who don't do yagya dan tapa, thinking that these are useless mundane activity. Krishna said this is not good. You understand the intent behind it. You do if you are doing it for right purpose, you are the tyagi. So to go back to your question that you asked, can yagya, dan, and tapa would be considered as a tyaga? Yes, as long as you are not attaching to the fruits of
hmm,
that action. Flanicha.
okay.
You're not
Hmm,
expecting any result.
hmm,
You are not attached that I am the doer. Everybody should think, that I am the only one who's qualified to do arti on the altar. Everybody else will see how great I am. Those
hmm,
type of things, Rather, I am serving for the pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna has given me this opportunity. Whatever status he has given me, he has put me into, my responsibility is to serve him. I am serving him.
hmm,
Then you are tyagi, perfect tyagi.
hmm,
So personal sense or personal benefit has been completely segregated, then that
hmm,
action. So yes, you are right, Pooji, 100%. This yagya, dan, and tapa can also fall in three different category. And the same thing, in fact, we studied in 17th chapter. Go to 17th chapter.
divisions of faith.
Yeah, and then you will see that there are more foods in three modes. There are sacrifices in three modes, verse number 11 to 13. There are austerity in three modes, right? There are charity also in three modes, right?
Hmm,
Verse number 22 to 22, 22. Krishna says, if charity is done out of duty, without expectation of return at a proper time and to a worthy person, then it's in the mode of goodness. But here Krishna is saying it's done for me. Karan Phalat, you are all doing for my pleasure. Then suddenly that becomes Suddha Sattva. So that is the point, Prabhuji.
Penance, charity. Yeah, penance, charity. 19 penance is there.
Yes. So verse number 19, 14 to 19 talks about austerity in three mode, which is tapasya, right?
Right.
And then charity, which is dan, 21, 20, 21, 22 talks about that. Austerity in three modes, 17, 18, 19 talks about that.
Mm.
So those are the verses that we can go and look at. This chapter also needs some prior or maybe some sort of refreshment for all other chapters that we have gone, because Krishna is going to in one chapter kind of give us the summary of everything that he has spoken. But as you like, when I'm going through these verses, I can point out where Krishna has talked about these things. So Yagya, Dan and Tapa, these three topics have been very nicely addressed in chapter number 17. The division of faith from verse number 8 to verse number 22. Okay. Anything else, Prabhuji? Anybody else has anything
So,
before
I
we
mean,
adjourn?
basically, these verses are expanding on the last, on the chapter 17, all these
That's
things.
that's why it says summary. Yes, Prabhuji. You would not you would not really kind of hear something quite new. Rather, it's just a repetition of the same concept, and Krishna is concluding. Presenter has given a presentation. All the
Conclusion.
informatives. Eh? So
Here
last
it's giving
slide,
the conclusion. Yeah.
last slide is just concluding. Yes. So this is the last slide. Krishna is giving us the last slide. Okay, here is what here. And it's very Mataji is saying three types of tyaga is kartritva, yeah, mamata, give up the idea of ownership, and phala, without expecting results. Yes. So this is what it is given here, Mataji. Attachment or doership
Yes, Prabhu.
without expectation of result,
So
and
we have to never give up our activities, but we have to do in the
with
mood of
this,
these three types. Yes.
yes, right. So these are three types of
Where are you quoting this, Mataji, from? Where is this?
kartritvam mamta. This might be
Ah,
from different place.
Yeah, I heard from one of the lecture. Prabhu.
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
But
Okay.
the 3 points that you are mentioning here, Mataji, I think it's coming from this verse.
Yeah, that is coming from this verse. Yeah, from
Yeah, from
the verse
6.
6. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, this is very nice. I mean, many times we may give the idea of doership, we may even give the idea of phala, but mamta is very, we want ownership.
Yes. I didn't know this term.
So that,
Uh,
yeah.
Kartritva, Krishna has used this word. This mamata, give up the idea of ownership or doership mentality is, yeah, it's new term to me. But other two terms I've heard. So yes. So any
Mamta.
action that is being performed, if we do with these three factors, then I think we are really taking the best result out of it. Hmm. Thank you, Mataji. What else?
Yeah, Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah, I think the sixth verse is like a nice conclusion kind of thing. So as you mentioned here, attachment is the main thing we see here, doership, right, Prabhuji? Because we cannot stay. It reminded me verse from 3:5 also, Bhagavad Gita 3:5. Nahi kachit kshanamapi jatatistati akarmata.
Yeah.
So
This
even
will come, Prabhu.
yeah, so we
This
cannot just
verse,
stay idle,
next
right?
section.
Yeah,
Yes.
ideal. So then we are engaged somehow or other, but when we are engaged in the activities, our mind should be focused on these 3 points. How we should be performed without attachment or do ownership and without attaching to the results. I think that is the one takeaway, Prabhuji, for me especially. So
You are right. This Krishna is going to teach us. Yes. Yes. You are right. You are right, Prabhu. Yeah, please, Mataji, Bimla Mataji, do you have some announcement that you wanted to do? Like how many homework we have to submit? How many homework we have done? Do you know?
Yes, Prabhu. Till 15th chapter, we have already submitted in the Google Classroom. From
Okay.
16 to 17 and 18, you have to post.
16, 17, 18, huh?
Yeah, yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay. The folder that I sent very first time for module
Yeah,
theory, it
that has
doesn't,
Yes,
everything.
yes, Prabhuji. But we
it
have
has,
to, yeah, it has everything, Prabhuji.
right. So
Yeah,
devotee should be,
yeah.
Manoj Prabhuji, go ahead.
No, the module 3's.zip file which you have uploaded,
G,
that has everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that should have everything.
Yeah.
So devotees should not wait and do their homework. I think once chapter 18 uh, is done, then we'll very quickly get into nectar of devotion. In next 6-7 months, we'll try to finish this course and give you all certificate.
how much time you have, Prabhuji, to complete the remaining
We'll
module?
try to, it depends. I mean, if you are okay with the pace we are going, then it might take some time, a year. But if you want to quickly go through it, then I can also do that. But I think our pace has been good, right, Manohar Prabhu? I don't know. Are you all waiting for Brahmin Diksha?
We are good. This space is nice.
I can give you certificate even before. That's not a problem. But you'll have to do everything. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I know, Anand Prabhu, if you are thinking to
No,
get
no, no,
second
Prabhuji.
initiative,
There is no such thing as such, Prabhuji.
I waited 10 years. I did not rush. But if you
Okay.
like to get the certificate, I mean, I'm sure you will do the course. I can work with the institute and ask them to send you the certificate. They might ask me a lot of questions, but
No, Prabhuji. No, just I'm curious asking like out of curiosity.
yeah, so once
Bhagavad Gita, we know.
Bhagavad Gita is done, means 50% done. And
Okay.
after this, it's going to be one book is going to be one module. So Nectar of Devotion is one. And then Nectar of Instruction and Isopnisha. 3 books, 3 module. So Bhagavad Gita itself was 3 module. so you have done a lot by doing this. And now we should start, quickly finishing our homework and be
Yeah.
ready for the exam. I would like you all to give the exam so that you are done. Maybe, give a week or so, prepare for the exam, and in the parallel, we can do Nectar of Devotion. I know one thing that I'm learning now, that I need to teach Nectar of Bhagavad Gita as last now, because Bhagavad Gita requires some technical terms that need to be introduced. So, but Nectar of Devotion, I personally think would be or Nectar of Instruction, NOI or NOD. Those 2 books I should maybe start first, and then come to Bhagavad Gita in the beginning, and finish up with Isopnishat. Isopnishat is difficult. If you do not have firm conviction on Supreme Personality of Godhead and in his bhakti process, then you may get tangential, thinking that, oh my gosh, this is because some of the verses sounds like it's supporting, Brahman theology.
Mayavadi.
So I did not use that term, but that's why I keep that for fully mature devotee. Once we have digested the bhakti, what is bhakti and all of that, once we have understood nectar of instruction, Bhagavad Gita very nicely, then I can conclude. So that definitely is always going to be the last chapter, last module that we have
Last
to
thing.
work on. Last thing, yes. So that now you are fully ripened. Thank you. Appreciate you all asking questions
Thank
and
you.
participating in the discussion. It's very important that, and one thing I can tell you, this is the time for you to clear your concepts on some of these things. If it's not getting clear now, later you'll be so busy and you would, study everything else thinking that you know Bhagavad Gita. But I always, kind of tune myself that I don't know anything Bhagavad Gita. So I always come back and I find that, oh my gosh, Bhagavad Gita is, Gita Upanishad. I have, so many Upanishad. Okay. And I studied that and I see that it's saying same thing that Bhagavad Gita talks. And then I realize why it's called Gita Upanishad, essence of all the Upanishad. That's true. That's true. Mandukya Upanishad, Manda Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, all that Upanishad you study. And you'll find out that Krishna has summarized everything in Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is something that we have to keep on coming, and clarify all the concept from here, or study everywhere else to understand what Krishna has spoken. Are you following what I'm saying? To build the deeper and deeper and deeper. This is Krishna's word. So build a deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper understanding. We have to, in fact, they say that Srimad Bhagavatam is Srimad Bhagavatam is a purport, bigger purport of Bhagavad Gita through some examples and stories. So Bhagavad Gita is very, very important book. We should never think that, we know. Keep on reading, keep on reading, keep on reading, keep on reading again and again. It's Krishna's word. These words will purify us, clean us, on multiple stages.
Yes, Prabhuji, I
Okay.
completely agree with them because when you go and see again, then is it really, it is that much clearly Krishna said? That's what feeling it gives, Prabhuji, if you go back again when you're reading it. So
Yes.
personal experience also. Is it so clearly, vividly things are given, once we read it, but if you go back again, it looks like a very, it gives that kind of feeling for me. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we should never think that we are familiar.
Yes, that is true. Yep.
Never, never. I never. I mean, I think that this is the first time I'm reading this verse. This is the first time I'm hearing. And if you hear the same verses from more and more realized devotee, they would add a lot of other, items to it. I'm sure if you hear from Manohar Prabhu, he will tell much deeper on these verses. Thank you, Prabhus.
Need to remember.
Vanchkalpatarubhya kripa sindhubhya
सिंधुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Teacher.
Thank you. Hare